Hold on.
I made my snack. Can't leave home without one.
Taking a nap at noon since age 19.
That's the least of my worries.
What, backwards man?
Yeah, that's actually Friday now.
Put that on the agenda. Backers down.
Robin, ready?
Sign for Christmas.
And it was up yesterday.
Yeah. Somebody's over the house.
It does what it wants,
Yeah.
despite what politicians on both sides of the aisle want to tell us. It does what it wants.
I don't understand why.
It doesn't make sense.
I'm happy it's going up, but
Me too.
Person can't go up, why is the person?
today,
Am I right?
yes, today I went through there's a 7-Eleven.
Oh, you may have to wait for.
In Geneseo,
Yeah, we don't have a supervisor.
and there's a 7-Eleven in Leicester. One of them. It's like 2 people at the same clerks.
I know what.
How's that?
In Geneseo, at the corner, there's a 7-Eleven, and then in Leicester, by the park, there's a 7-Eleven, they're owned by the same people, the same clerk, work at both stores, and there's 40 cents a gallon difference in the front.
It's lower.
No,
It always have that.
yeah, but 40 cents over, 5 miles to, it's crazy.
I know what I'm saying.
I know what I
Friday, go all the way back, so I'm gonna be on the mall.
get a good handle on it. Anything is in bill, so I don't want to just have them shred.
No, I'm just letting you know that I'm gonna get them all pulled from our store because they.
It's cheaper.
So we're gonna review it, and I'm gonna review them, if you will,
Okay,
and then I'm gonna put them in boxes, a number of them, so that they'll be divided by boxes, because that's what I'm doing for my other clients who want. And stuff.
thank you.
And then, I'll let you know how many boxes there are. Just might have to be for, because I'm gonna have to go to the store. and check.
I mean, we are missing. Could get us in trouble down the line.
And probably go here.
But you know what I'm saying?
Stuff, a lot of that, it's, I don't.
I'm not sure.
And we may have those.
But I totally devastated. Everything.
Dedicated.
We still.
See like what? Space.
Okay.
Probably better. Some somewhere. My previous job.
This point, and so we're. Okay. I agree with that. First, so I thought that's, yeah, it should have.
Like I said, that's the practice. We should be missing, and I'm just hoping they have something. Looking for them. I wasn't around, and I don't like to say that, and I don't like to say that.
I know. I
I really don't like to say that. All right.
Please.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you.
What they say.
Oh, yeah, I'm reading markets. Typically, I don't let them work, I think that's like that, but. First, oh. So.
Oh, yeah,
I got it.
yeah, I know,
Put it in there.
yeah. Hi, Robin.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're freaking first place in the house. We gotta go. Must be Wayne's or something. That shows. Halloween candy.
From last year.
No, I just bought it. No, they've been all digging into it. I never get Cheaters, so.
What's that? Grandchildren. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been eating it.
Playing, Riviera Theater. I've seen them in, for some reason, gone to, like, the clients. Oh, and
Well, I had my purse.
oh, you might like it. It was a sacrifice.
You're helping me out.
Look at that.
Good. All right, let's keep moving. Start moving.
Start.
We're on page 4. Second line. Reserves.
Still not great. All I got for September was 2.8 million. Last year. Hoping good news was gonna come for October, but I do have an email that I could forward unless you guys got it, because it goes to my dad. So once you get it, it was from Dave Lucas. That says the sales tax cash payments that we're gonna receive October 6th and 12th are gonna include the quarterly reconciliation for activity. So we'll have to watch and see what we get there. So the unreconciled sales tax payments received over the last couple months show a similar pattern to March, April, May quarter. And they anticipate the October reconciliation will bring the sales tax results down to a single digit return for most counties, possibly flatline for others. So we'll keep you closely updated on what we get. for
We got
sales.
hard crack though next week, we'll just flood you.
Love you. So that's what I got there.
It should be $9 better than papers.
Yep.
The wine.
It's kind of hard to track, but, interest and my class prime rate as of today is 2.1% interest, so I got a lot of some more stuff in that, or still getting good. We had a dinner at Burn Cliff last week, in New York class, it's still really nice stuff, so it's gonna keep going, should be 3% soon, so. We'll make some up there.
Mhm.
Any questions on the bills and financing? Any statements? About your FYI.
Director Lucky finalized single audit. We did send that to the federal hearing house on the 30th. That was accepted. After that, there was about a 42 email group I blasted out to everybody that got it last year, so they're all kind of, so if you, get any emails or anything about redoing one single audit and want to forward it to me, you know, with staffing changes, Cheryl had specific people, John Smith at whatever.org, you know, so if they change position and I don't get a kickback email and they want the audit, it's on the website, it's on the website after I got it, it was posted on the 29th. So if anybody needs anything else, just let me know and we'll email it unless they can get it off the county website. And I'm crazy with that, just did some of my own.
Right. Three. And it'll be a policy review.
Jennifer Wilkinson did review it for us. There weren't any changes other than bank dollar amount, which is not chart with the dollar amounts was in the resolution from last year. So they want to leave that out. I'm not sure what was that. The actual Word document I had and the actual resolution didn't have that chart.
So the policy didn't match the resolution,
The little chart was not there.
of the resolution. Oh, we should look at that, let's look at that one.
So we can see what's in there.
Yeah, because when we're adopting your policy, because I'm quite sure, because I see this blue line here that you sent electronic copy. That's gonna be the copy that they adopt. Okay. We attach to the resolution.
Makes sense.
And if last year's looks wonky, it's just, we gotta see if it was in it.
That wasn't there, it was different.
That's okay.
Okay, other than that.
No, she wants this now. This is last year, she's talking about.
Oh. The motion. Anybody have a question on this? Motion by Mr. Brewer. Any questions on it? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Page 5. Community college rates.
I just wanted to put this out on here again with Sarah, I was getting some information about the chargeback rates for community colleges. They are going to rise about 10%. It's the same that it rose last year. It's about 10%. We have gotten 813 certificates of residence for 2021 so far, and this was a few days ago. Yesterday was the last day for GCC, so we got yesterday for the 8th program. So we have 500 so far for 2022. That doesn't include what we did yesterday. And we usually have large influx at the end of the year for spring starting again as well. So it does look like it went up to about averaging almost $6,000 a student based on the average chargeback rate. And I believe they leave off the Fashion Institute, that's like $10,000. Yes. Down here. So that's just an FYI there. I do have the rates and everything, and they needs those.
So you anticipate that the number of students would be the same as last year?
Cheryl had on last year, we got about 1,600 to 2,000 certificates. So I didn't see that. I only saw 813 for 2020. So I don't know where that ever came from.
So they've encountered a similar situation in other counties, and in particular Erie County. And the legislature there said, hey, wait a minute, you know, you got to start right sizing your facilities and classrooms and the number of people that you employ to match the number of students that you got there. And in fact, I think they closed a couple of campuses in Erie County as a result of that. I don't know if we're applying similar pressure to the folks up there at ECC to make sure that, you know, they right-size the classroom sizes and the number of people employed there to match. Because every year it goes up 10%, 10%, 10%.
So we've had for years beyond to have representation.
And they won't, they haven't.
No representation.
No representation.
In this town. You don't want to kind of.
All right,
But yet we pay.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
oh yeah, we pay.
I understand the law, but I mean, we should have some representation of
Crazy.
some
I
sort.
know.
Been saying that for 8 years and I have.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah, we'll bring it up. Their attention, in case anybody needs that information, or the email it.
That's just not why and number 5.
Number 5, Susie brought to my attention that there's gonna be a afternoon meet and greet and a little presentation discussion with Tammy about OTP. So that's gonna be pretty useful, hopefully with the Seneca settlements and stuff coming in, hopefully I'll.
I thought it would be advantageous for her to go. And besides the point that we had to have this because Erie County Controller is, yeah, making the fuss. So we're trying to get everybody from all the counties together, financial people. So thank you, Robin, for going.
Greg will.
They're still trying to get more money. They're not going.
Anything else?
Oh, I do have a walking, not ours. Thanks.
I know, I was. Child.
Thought it was Halloween decoration.
I did get, those that were tonight, they be aware of Foreclosure Auctions International about the foreclosure auction. So I had reached out to Bid and Buy about the contract and using them going forward, just because with COVID, I haven't had an auction. Last year, yeah, for the first year, but, you know. So I reached out to them. They did give me a contract that's 10% buyer's premium on properties. Auctions International was 6%. And then one day I got, on the 29th of September, I got a new contract sent to the office from Bid and Buy that has 6% on it. So they are going to be able to match the prices for Auctions International. They're able to keep the business local. We had a long phone conversation because my emails were going to their spam, I guess. Signage that they can do, they're able to do 6%, which I think was great. They didn't say it was after check, that's on everything. It was still going to be 10% for credit card for Auctions International. So Wills and I are working well together, and it looks like we'll be able to use them this year and save a little money.
If you said they get it when.
I have not. The last day of redemption is October 14th for the parcels, and then that Monday we'll work with Mason on getting the final list. They're also going to make their catalog bigger. So looking at their parcel, we look at one picture, but you have to go online and click. I asked them if they could do 2 parts of the page, that way they could have a picture of the property along with the map from the satellite next to it. And you don't need as much information as if we were a municipality that takes title ahead of time. So that they can make it a little bit bigger, so those people that aren't online can look through and flip and see where it is and more information on the page. So it'll be a bigger catalog this year, but hopefully it'll have more information for people. They won't have to use either that. And it'll be online and in person at North State Fire Hall. So all that. So they did send me a contract just the other day, so I'll have to enter that and send it in.
Do you need a motion?
I don't.
To approve that?
I mean, I have. Not even, I can do better.
So you got
Oh, yeah.
questions? For the treasurer. Yeah, thank you. And we're at on page 5, we're looking at the end, so the intermunicipal agreement. Talk about the chapter 24 subdivision. Move it. Measure Davis. Any discussion on these? All in favor?
Aye.
There.
Karen, did you want someone to do the NICEAG resolutions? Yes. You didn't do those.
Yeah.
I can move number 1 to right through number 10. I'm moving them all. 1 through 10.
Any question on the next resolution? And, a motion by Supervisor Mayhew. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Right, then to page 6. James Cook.
Just real quick, I sent out everybody an email, where we are, like, the tax rate amount I put on there weren't right. What are the rates? I grabbed someone else's.
Right here, Janice.
Yeah, but I re-emailed it this morning with the correct, but it wasn't important to have it. Okay, so maybe we can correct it in a minute. It doesn't matter because it's just the tax rate. And I mean, the levy is a lot. I mean, you're talking 34% increase and that's after them being through everything. And again, if we use $5 million of our fund balance, which makes me somewhat nervous, it only takes it down to 13.8.
Only 30 to 13.
Yep. And then if we add back, I know Brian Myers had talked to me about Monroe. And I think he talked to you, Jen, about Monroe not renewing or not providing services to me. I don't know. I don't get it. All I know is I had taken out that $775,000. So that's not in the budget. I don't know what's going on.
They basically sent notification that probably canceling their contract. They're not gonna leave us in the lurch. Maybe we'll do a month something, but they haven't, it's not official legal notice at this point. It's just kind of a heads up, you know, to.
I thought we had another 2 years in that contract.
Oh, yeah, those.
Maybe 24 or something. Right.
Yeah.
Again, no legal notice at this point. All I can tell you is that Brian Myers followed me at 3:40 or 4:45 or whatever it was. And it's not. And I believe he circulated it to people other than me after our discussion.
Okay, so.
Yeah, the church's contract.
Mhm.
I don't know, so that's something that's up in the air, I pulled it all up after Monroe came and it sounded like we were good to go for, for a little while, to pursue the future, but anyway. I'm thinking because of how vulnerable our fund balance is with the hospital. We're gonna have to plan for something, so even if it's, I'm thinking like we put 500,000 in, like kind of. Halfway through, get us somewhere, I don't. So without any better, clear
Right.
information on that. So I added that, and I know there was talk about a county manager. And I don't know, I put 125, I don't know, so that's 625, and that would have brought, again, the levy didn't change, 16.42 is where you would be. I'm still working on some areas. I just got the omitted tax for the Ag Center. It's about 78,000. I have to put that in the budget for 2023.
You had said in your email originally that the county manager not included.
It's not included,
Okay,
but if I do include it, that's the number. It's not included right now. It's not in contingency. It's not anywhere. So I'm just giving you an idea of where you are. I do need to, I was working with Robin yesterday, I do need to look at the debt for the hospital, because prior to their big ask of $10 million. We were trying to work to share, get ARPA money back to them in a way that made sense. And, so we were looking to pay off one of their bands. So I believe we put like $1 million in their debt to pay off that band to help them out. I may relook at that to reduce that amount that goes to them. Might have to just keep the band. I'll take a look at it, see if it makes sense. I'll present it to you guys next week. I gotta pull that apart though and see where we are, because I didn't enter those figures and they come from the treasurer's office, so. The rates, your pizza, I can't tell you what pizza costs anymore. It's expensive.
$30
I'm sure, but
$30.
we can talk about it more on, because I know this, we're running late, but. The assessment figures all over the board. I mean, like I said, there's 4 towns that were 100% last year and 100% this year. You got Bennington throwing everything out of whack. You've got, just,
Well, the assessment,
so
nightmare to serve.
we have to just keep an eye on the levy. I mean, the levy is a big deal. We're never gonna come near the tax cap. That's where we are.
And I only got a glance at what you sent. I was asking for more employees. Did anybody else, any other departments? I didn't look at all.
Yeah, I have a list. I have,
How many creations that are in the next
not,
budget?
there's not a ton of, I mean, the highway has 4, 5, 6. And after putting everything in, I had to give them a call. We can't do this. We
I
can't.
don't think we can do what he wants now.
So, we talked about it, we cut some, I think we cut 2 or 3. It would be in this. That I sent 2 things, it would be in this one.
So Janet, on the cuts,
Yeah,
I mean, the highway was only a page, but the general was like 6 pages of notations there on the 2 attached files. Was there something you wanted to highlight
there's
there?
a lot that I highlighted.
Okay. All right,
That's what I want you to look at,
and
because like I said, I don't make decisions like that, I don't feel
I
like.
get it, I
I'm,
get it.
You know,
When do you want to have this conversation?
I'm hoping committee of the whole will look at it, go through everything like we do.
Yeah,
You know, my little part, I don't have a whole lot. I have nothing actually.
Do we need to start early for, because.
Don't need to start with
And you got some more coming.
good idea.
I mean, right now, we're on 10 o'clock. Most of the big dollar things were, I worked with the department head to back them up. I know Bill Sykes, we knocked a lot of his, and we talked about it. I mean, to provide wireless internet at the Ag Center was $200,000. We don't even have that here. So I'm not sure why we would be putting it over there. So things like that, I talked with the department head and I go, listen, we can't do everything, just can't. As long as they have internet, that's all that matters, right? At this point.
Right.
So, I mean, it's things like that I put, but I haven't heard anything from anybody. They've all got it on these, so.
So what was the extent of your lovely conversation with Norm Methman?
We kind of talked about. Basically, he wants to flip salary with Leah.
Yeah.
And, there's gonna be a little bit more here, a little bit more there, but some is gonna be paid from the Sorrel Herring
Yeah.
money, and I said, you know what? This is why we do have a contingency, because we're not talking about huge dollars. like-
Talking like $12,000 he wanted,
Mhm.
right?
Was all that actually.
And then giving the rest to Leah and it's,
A written plan back because it's, Norm's gonna have to do his letter of retirement and
Yeah.
then. Proposal job and settlements.
And I.
I think that's why he brought it up.
And we did talk about ALA. And
Right, he wants to,
transitioning that into a public defender's
he wants
office,
to,
which
yes.
I've been talking about. for
So
years.
that would make you that would make you happy.
So that's gonna take a lot of work.
Yeah,
That's gonna be a lot of creating positions and.
I know.
whatnot.
Did you receive the budget from the hospital?
I did get that Friday at 3:30. With no surprises, it's still at the 10.6 million. I think their overall expenditures are 76 million.
I'm just reading your comments here, and I think obviously you're being optimistic. Some of your comments here relative to using $5 million of the fund balance, but only if they can turn things around.
Well, because our fund balance disappear. So, because of,
So you got 4 million in 24, 3 million for the rest of the years. That's cutting it close.
Okay, so then you know what that means.
We go bankrupt.
That means that levy number is gonna go up.
Oh, who said that?
I just said it because there's, unless you wanna, I don't know what you want to fund. I mean, I looked through, we're gonna talk about some things tomorrow. I listened to the committees. I mean, we've got a lot of projects going on. And we just keep doing more and we, like everyone said, you gotta take care of the buildings, you gotta take care of roads, you gotta take care of all this stuff.
I just have a hard time, Janice, asking a taxpayer in the town of Middlebury to pay another $180 a year in county taxes to meet that levy.
Okay, so we can go through department by department. But the big hump is a $10 million subsidy to the hospital.
You got it.
I mean, the departments are where they are. I mean, you know that there isn't fluff in these departments. The only thing you can control is projects. So I have 1.3 million scheduled to go into the CIP fund. We can knock that down to 300,000, but then we have to talk about the CIP projects and which one we're gonna do, which is fine. But then we just do them. We can't do that if we're using $5 million of fund balance to offset. So when you think about the 7 million we took out of the fund balance to give to the hospital this year,
Right.
7, and then we use 5 million towards the hospital next year out of the 10. We use 5. It's $12 million right out of our fund balance.
Mhm. I get it, but we need to have some options here. And the option isn't
I know, you should.
we raise taxes versus using fund balance, or.
Yeah. Wait, you gotta raise the tax, you cannot,
We don't have options.
I mean, I'm not a magician, I
I
can't.
get it, I
I
get it,
feel
I get it.
like I've been really struggling with this.
I understand. But that's a tall order to pay, ask somebody who's on a fixed
I
income,
agree,
who's only getting social security
I agree.
and, whack them with another $180 a year. I mean, I try to do what I can within the town to keep the rate down.
So do you wanna look at staffing? Do you wanna look at projects? Do you want to look at,
I think at this juncture, everything is on the table.
okay. It's the hospital,
Okay,
and I only know this because, I mean, how many positions did we hire this year? 20 something positions we created.
yeah,
Were they, I mean, you approved them because they were needed. Someone came in, they said, this is where I am, we need the position. I don't think people came in and said, oh my God, I think I need one. No, I think everyone came in and showed you why they needed the positions. correct?
Sure.
So you approve the positions, it is what it is. That's where we are, and there's not a whole lot you can do on our side, unless you do less roads, less bridges,
But you know,
less CIP.
most of those positions, I would assume, weren't high-paying jobs, right? They were administrative, you know, clerks,
Right.
fiscal, so
Support that.
important staff, but not costing us huge dollars.
Like position of power.
Yeah,
I can't control those, and I can't,
I know you can.
I don't know what to tell you. If the hospital needs $10 million, and I've been on him and asked him, I want to make sure he understands it completely. That it's not, you know, you take out your depreciation, you know, give me cash, that's the number I want. I want cash. $10 million. So. Not my job to go over there and tell them what to do.
No,
And they're, you know, they're making good money.
I mean, are there some things that we can do from a borrowing perspective?
We want to borrow to operate the county.
Oh, no, well,
We can't.
for
borrow-
CIP, for our CIP.
Yeah, you want to do that? I could look into that,
But it would, so we could still borrow for our CIP and then use those funds to help offset some of these other,
we can look at that.
Yes.
because, I mean, what are we paying for interest? It's gotta be super cheap, right?
Well, it's going up, so borrowing money's not.
It's still going up, but
It's like
It's still not.
I'm trying to get us to the point where we can turn that place around. We need at least a couple more years. So we'll be having the same conversation next year and maybe even in more dire straits.
What you need to do, and this is where it's hard for me to tell you this, and as opposed to you seeing it. On the screen, how this works. Because as you use that fund balance. Can't use it again.
I know, it's going. I get that.
And I've been watching the sales tax and the
It's not.
email that Ron just talked about, I re-looked at the sales tax, I even bumped it up some more just to make it better, to make this better, which makes me nervous. And those reconciliations to New York City are gonna happen all the way to 2023.
But let me ask you this question. So Don in planning shared with us, you know, he had $11 million worth of new construction, right? I think that was on your report. That I assume goes to the assessed values, right? That 11 million. Now we're gonna have towns that are also gonna move back to 100%. Hopefully through some reval. That,
It doesn't do anything to the levy.
no, but it reduces the pain, doesn't it?
Theory.
You're gonna ask me that, I'm not, you know, you guys are all over the board. You're all over the board where you're assessed, what your assessments are. I've never found where his numbers even play a part in the, do you know how many millions of assessment account?
Sure.
The 11 million is not gonna like. It's,
Okay,
Unless that happened before the 1st of March, it's not on this year anyway.
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Give us some options.
Janice, do you know how much?
Anything on the table
It's in the year and after,
Next week.
next week.
how much at the end of the year, you know, what you.
Okay,
We can't count on that.
I wish that, of course, you know, I did that 5-year plan, and I always feel pretty good about it because I've had 15 years of history doing it. And I always like to see how close I am. And until the hospital threw that $10 million at me, I was pretty damn close. So I feel confident in my numbers going forward because I know I have that history.
so what homework would you like us to do before next Tuesday?
Well,
Read, yes.
Read it,
read the notes I have on here for,
Look at the cuts.
look at the cuts, see what I've done, because I don't leave much out there, and I have a pretty good relationship with the department heads So if I say, if you don't need it this year, take it out. It doesn't mean next year you can't put it in. I know, I've seen it. I know, it used to be, if you don't spend it, you lose it. Yeah, you might this year, but next year you can put it in. I'm not, I have that relationship with them. So I know that there is not stuff in here that is wacky out there, pie in the sky things. I know.
Okay.
But I want you to look at it, and the things we need to talk about are county manager. The EMS, you all saw that presentation from Brian. I think he's been in a couple of times, so, and we all get it. It's either Monroe paying them money, what money, I have no idea, when, I have no idea. In the jail, is it on here at all? That would be a borrowed amount,
That's
but
good.
I have no idea.
None of us do.
If it costs $2 million to make a 911, whatever that thing is, a fire training center. I have no idea what a jail's gonna cost. 6,
5, 6.
that's what I was thinking, 5 or 6, we would definitely have to borrow that.
And everything's jumping up within 3-month periods.
That's not in my numbers anymore.
So can you give us some borrowing options or discussion?
What do you wanna borrow? Like the few CIP projects that we
Yeah.
have?
Yeah, sure.
I gotta meet with Mike this week. To really hone in on what's out there that still needs to be done.
We're up on the, where would that borrowing be for the Ag Center or for,
We paid for the Ag Center, we already borrowed money for that.
yeah,
Fire training center, we already had money for that.
not enough, not enough.
Fund balance.
The barn, I think that was part of so the money that we borrowed, there was money left over, because what was it, 40 grand?
It was around, yeah, it wasn't much money.
But now we got the roof.
We only had like 6. That's what the county money, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Because we could borrow big, that's the $2 million.
What do you have in the CIP?
Thing like that.
Right, right,
Like very little.
right, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna take a while, yeah.
There's quite a big.
So you say when we did take that money from the general fund, put it towards that fire training facility, it's not 1.4 million. We did that prior to the hospital saying they needed 7 and 10 million. Because we wanted to be able to use the ARPA funds that we finagled our way and trickled down into our fund balance. That was why we were choosing to do that. So it's almost like doing the project with ARPA, what we did. So that's why we did that. And the time we did that, things were looking great. But we could still, if we needed to walk tomorrow, we could.
Okay,
These are all been.
I gotta get with Mike. I gotta get with Mike and we're all
Got it.
busy and it's on my list.
okay.
Hopefully before, obviously before we get home.
Okay,
All right, so to keep moving, we're at 1 o'clock. Number 2.
So are you done?
Well, I got.
she's got an appropriation.
Just stay out of the poison ivy.
Yeah, I know. I'm all with you.
I'll move that one, Brian.
All right, we have a motion by Supervisor May, I will do the appropriation for payment order, criminal court. Anybody available? Alvin, any questions on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Right,
Opposed? Carried. Bottom of the page, excuse me, Cheryl. Appropriation for 20,000. This is the available from earmark, WCTH for the New York State, from the New York State Department
Okay,
of State. This was the matching,
Matching,
it finally showed up. There was 148 that came from Livingston County, and then we've been holding on to the balance Put that 20,000 here so they could all go together to the hospital.
This was for the dialysis.
Yeah. Which.
Right, hopefully.
We still look like it's money. Yeah.
Who's moving in?
Do I have a motion to move this? A motion by Supervisor Britt. Any more discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm sure it's sticking the eye.
All right, top page 7, number 2. Retirement for Vanessa.
Need a motion?
The motion.
Go ahead.
Supervisor May. Any more discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. And Cheryl on the 4 county registrations for the NICEAG convention.
Yeah,
She told you to know that she made a point, say, I don't know that. And she did it. Thank you. The last thing from Cheryl is the first one is from this. Usually, person spec. Anybody read it, got questions on it?
It was rather lengthy.
mhm.
No, this guy is out of state.
Yeah,
Same, okay, got it.
Yeah.
It's very important, you're not going to be able to attend NICEAG to say so if you're not going to, because you will end up coming.
I was asked how many supervisors signed up that did not go, and do we not get our money back?
So here's the deal. We had to pay for all of the NICEAG registrations, but I was able to work it that, I got all but one night back from the 3 that were unable to attend. I worked my magic, we got forgiven several nights, paid for one night,
Hotel,
hotel.
but the registrations,
NICEAG is. Anything back after like 2 weeks prior,
sure,
and then a party pass on the.
okay. I agree, you know, if you're gonna go, commit to go, unless there's extraordinary circumstances, and I understand that there,
Extraordinary circumstances, and you talk to me, even if
yeah,
it's beyond traveling.
sure.
But
I sat there with Cheryl and Luann on Sunday night. And okay, where are these people, you know, right?
we didn't,
Yeah, I get it.
All right. Move on to page 16. And so it was S and D to fund approved like the market rate adjustment for the 2022 compensation committee. For all of us that really wants to talk to us about this before we approve it.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, do we need an executive session? We need an executive,
For these salaries.
okay. I don't know, we,
so if you're talking about employment history. And salaries, like you did with Bill,
yes, we do executive,
you need to appoint him.
okay.
Want to have that conversation.
Okay, go to the executive session. Again. Okay. 5 minutes.
It's not me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? More time.
Yep.